schedule a time to meet with me, and have you committed to grad school yet? I'm reading out loud this email from my advisor, some random day in March, the senior year of my undergrad. Now, in the moment, I didn't really think anything of this email because my advisor was a big part of my grad school process. He was the first reference for all of my applications. He knew way more about all this than I did, obviously, so I thought he was just trying to check in. But it's important to note the relationship I had with my advisor. So my advisor had the reputation of being the really hard teacher, but you learned a lot and got a lot out of his classes. And because of that, I specifically and intentionally took every single class that he had offered throughout my entire undergrad. So starting from the first semester of college to that day in March, he and I had spent a lot of time together. In the classroom as his student, outside the classroom as his advisee, and outside the classroom just as a professional in general. And because he had known me pretty well, he knew what value I could bring to the table. He offered me 2 extra opportunities. The first to coach his son and his son's friend to train them because they were high school track athletes, and he knew that my internship and coaching background was in sprint development. And with that, I would get credit, I would get to do research on it, present it at the symposium, get an award for it. And the second being to coach the 1 credit hour fitness class that every undergrad had to take just to make some side money. And in the moment, for both those opportunities, I very easily could have said no because I was in hard classes, I was on the baseball team, I was in leadership positions on 3 organizations, but knowing the reputation my advisor had, the relationship that we had, I knew that he wasn't offering me those opportunities just because. I knew that I had to take advantage of those because of the kind of guy he was, and because I wanted to as well. So I made those happen. So fast forward to this meeting, I walk into his office and he asks if I remembered Dr. K. We'll call him Dr. K for the story. And he was a teacher that I'd taken for 1 class my sophomore year, and I remember that he had gotten a job at a different school, a big purple school. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to go to Kansas State. Like, who wants to go to Kansas State? And my advisor said, oh, Dr. K is now at TCU, Texas Christian University. And I said, well, they're really good at baseball. And he said, I had a feeling you'd say that. So Dr. K and my advisor were good friends, and Dr. K had contacted my advisor and said, hey, we're looking for graduate assistants. We don't really have that many good applicants. Do you have anyone you can recommend or send our way? And I was the first person that my advisor thought of. And that's why he emailed me, and that's why we met. So he wanted to run the position by me, ask me first before he asks any other of his students. And from that meeting, over the next 2 weeks, all the phone calls I had with everyone at TCU, I had an offer for fully paid master's, full tuition, and a graduate assistantship position. So the moral of the story, there's a few here, is you never know who knows who. You never know who's gonna come back around no matter how much time passes, and be a professional and crush everything you do because you never know who's gonna come back around. If I had slacked off in that 1 class of Dr. K, he might not have considered me for that position even though my advisor thought really highly of me. Or if I had specifically sought out easier teachers, then I never would have had that relationship with my advisor. Or if I said no to those opportunities, my advisor might not have thought of me in that light for this position. So you never know who knows who. You don't know who's gonna come back around, and be a professional in everything you do.